You may know the name Susan Orlean from Shaker Heights. She's taken her talents from Northeast Ohio to the rest of the world as an author, staff writer for The New Yorker, and a speaker. But her latest project is one that hits right here at home.
Yes, I had the chance to actually sit down with her. She's a hoot, by the way. She recently is truly an open book here because I asked her about the resets in her life. You know, those moments, we've all had them where we feel like, I know I need to make a change. I don't know how to find it. I may not even know what I'm looking for. But Susan said her reset unfolded through childhood discoveries here and the process of writing her own life into a memoir, which became a major movie. And she hopes that you might find some clarity in your story by hearing hers.
You have to really deliberately sit down and review those memories, some of which you may not have reviewed for a very long time.
Sometimes a reset can come from returning home and the memories that started it all. How does it feel to be back?
It feels great. I have such warm feelings about Cleveland, about this particular library, about being here in general, so it feels really good.
Because this library, Bertram Woods in Shaker Heights, wasn't just a stop in her childhood. It was a beginning.
It was the first place that I remember as a child having the freedom to go off and do whatever I wanted, to walk among the books and pick whichever books I wanted, and then be able to take them home. It was like a fantasy.
She was a voracious reader, but it was a moment here in her childhood home, flipping through Life magazine, that changed everything.
It was about the day in the life of a small-town doctor. It dawned on me for the first time that you could write stories about people in their lives, that there was nothing dramatic happening. Something about that story just connected for me.
Those early sparks carried her through an award-winning career, writing for The New Yorker, publishing best-selling books. It was a career defined by curiosity, and even a Hollywood moment during the filming of adaptation based on her book, The Orchid Thief.
When they proposed Meryl Streep to play my character, I thought, okay, now this is both absolutely surreal and turning out to be real. Like, they're really gonna make this movie. When there was a screening of the finished film, I met her. We both got a big kick out of it.
But it was during the pandemic, when life hit pause, that her biggest reset emerged. It became the seed for her memoir, Joyride.
The whole reason I wrote it was inspired in part by the sense of reset. I think we were all thinking, what do we do and why do we do it? It was a moment to stop and look back over that period and understand how I got to where I am now.
She'd spent a lifetime turning her eye on others.
To turn the lens on myself at first felt very awkward. I hired another journalist, a wonderful writer who's a friend, and I said, I want you to interview me. I want to hear my stories out loud.
And somewhere in those pages, those memories, she found something new.
It made me appreciate a kind of unbridled enthusiasm and energy and determination that I had as a young writer that I hadn't really appreciated.
That lesson, she says, is something all of us can use.
The thing that I think you need to embrace is pleasure in being a beginner. There is an actual pleasure in being a learner, being a beginner, fumbling, having your mistakes not really matter.
For Susan Orlean, sometimes the most important lesson is the one we finally give ourselves permission to tell. So I love that what she says, you know, find the beginner in you essentially, because we all feel like I have to have it together before I make a move, before I do something different, before I have to figure out what all of it is and I have to make myself ready for it and I can't do it until then. And she's going, no, you really don't. Just trust the process and trust yourself and looking back and seeing how far you've grown.
Yeah, sometimes figuring it out on the fly is okay. It's okay.
You will
a plan
figure
is
it out.
good, but oftentimes the plan goes awry and you got to ad lib, you got to be flexible and let life take you where it leads.
And I feel like she has not lived by a plan.
Yeah.
She's just gone for it and everything has happened the way it's happened. And it hasn't been all, you know, wine and roses and lovely, but it never is.
Well, good for her.